Hi, I'm Mel Shilling and welcome to my exclusive shoot with OK Magazine. So we've just moved into our gorgeous new home, which we love. But I'm not going to say it's our forever home because we are a bit of an adventurous family. We've lived in Australia, we've lived in Bali, now the UK. Who knows what's next? Well, as you probably know, I married a Brit, so the UK definitely feels like home and we have a lot of family here. Also, my grandmother was born here, so I feel very, very connected to the UK. For me, career-wise, it makes total sense. Given I'm from Melbourne in Australia, I've got to say the weather is kind of similar. In fact, I can barely notice I've moved. So the transition has not been difficult at all. Maddie has adapted really well, although I've got to say the education system in Australia and the UK are quite different. So we're noticing that, it's taking a bit of adjustment to transition to the new approach. But as far as making friends goes, she's in heaven. She's doing music theatre, she's doing taekwondo, she's a happy chicken. As you probably know, I was diagnosed with bowel cancer in December and had surgery, and I'm now about halfway through chemotherapy. I've got to say it's pretty tough. The first couple of rounds were kind of easy, but now it's getting a lot harder. I'm noticing I'm having a lot of fatigue, sometimes feeling a bit sick. So it's a huge shift for me in terms of my work schedule. So I'm really having to make a conscious effort to build in that downtime, recovery time to just really pour back into my own cup. Otherwise, I just end up absolutely shattered. I've got to say, I'm very fortunate to be surrounded by my gorgeous family. Gareth and Maddie and Charlie have been incredible. I feel like my family are my rock. So for me, wherever I go, if I'm traveling or if I'm working somewhere else, home is where my family are. And throughout this whole cancer journey so far, it's been so wonderful to just be able to come home at the end of the day to what we call a family cuddle, which is all of us all in together, including the dog, and all cuddle together, and it just feels amazing. It's become very important to me to continue being open and sharing my cancer journey because there is so much work to be done in terms of raising awareness, particularly about bowel or colon cancer. Early onset bowel cancer is becoming an epidemic. Just recently, they've announced in Australia that they've reduced the age of screening for bowel cancer down to 45 years of age from 50, which is brilliant news. So now UK, we've just got to catch up. So I'm deep in the filming process of Married at First Sight UK, and I've got to say this new group of couples are phenomenal. You're going to notice a difference with this group of people. You're still going to get all the love stories and a bit of the drama as well, but I think you're going to find a lot of our couples are incredibly relatable. They're just like you and me, someone you might meet, your next door neighbour. And I think looking at the relationships as they develop throughout the season, you're going to see yourself in these couples and you're going to think, yeah, that's me. I've been through that, or my partner does that. So I can't wait to hear how you respond. Well, yes, Gareth and I have been together for coming up to 14 years. It's quite a long, actually. That's my record in terms of relationships. I'd say one of the secrets is that we met later in life. So the two of us were 39 when we met, and he'd been married before. I hadn't, but I'd certainly had my fair share of relationships. So when we came together, we had a really clear picture of what we wanted and what we didn't want. Gareth and I met online, and there was 6 weeks of just communicating via text. We were living in different states. I couldn't even have a phone call with him because his accent was so strong. I couldn't understand him on the phone. So we actually had some really intense conversation. We got to connect on the intellectual level as well as the emotional level, had some really good laughs. And so by the time we got to meet in person, we already had a really solid connection. Coming up this summer, I've got some really exciting projects that I've been working on for quite a while, and I'm starting to work in different areas of the media that I haven't tried yet. So you're going to start to see a little bit more of me. Definitely the Mel that you know from Married at First Sight, but more of the real me, more of the behind the scenes, more of the heart and soul of who I really am. I have one huge thank you to the fans of Married at First Sight, but also to my UK followers. Thank you so much for making me feel so loved, so incredibly supported throughout my career, but most specifically my cancer journey. I have received so many messages from you, some of you who've been through bowel cancer or have had family who've gone through it, but also many of you who are starting to notice symptoms in your own bodies and saying to me, thanks for the nudge, I'm going to go check it out. So huge, heartfelt thank you from me.